sorrow, a statue, and checking our hands. So first, sorrow or sadness. This is kind of risky, but I'll ask it anyways. What might you get sad over at times? Why might you have sorrow in your heart? What are some things that make you sad? What makes you sad? Yeah, Millie. When your brother takes your things, yeah. Lily. When you don't get, yeah, it's like sometimes when you really, really want something, and then you don't get it. That can make you sad. Patrick. Yeah, so death, right? When our pet dies, an animal that we love dies, or even maybe a family member, right? So, there's layers to sadness. There's layer to sorrow, right? I mean, the Bears lost on Sunday. That made me sad a little bit. Okay, the Cubs have not been playing that well the last few games. That makes me a little sad. But that's a very shallow level of sadness. There's things like what Patrick said. He said death. Right? Okay, then now we start getting into deeper sorrow, deeper sadness. Is sorrow good or bad? It's kind of a trick question. Is it good or bad? You know what? I'm not going to, or it's a trick question because it's neither. Sometimes we might think, oh, sorrow, like being sad, sorrow is bad. That's a bad thing. I mean, but sorrow is just an emotion. And so sorrow is neither good nor bad. Jesus was sorrowful, right? We know Jesus didn't do any sins ever, right? And Jesus, we hear in our first reading, he cries and has tears. He cries out. But the question becomes, what do we do with it? And that brings us to our second point, a statue. You might know what statue I'm talking about. It's in the back of the church now. It's a new statue. It came earlier in the week. The statue is called the Pietà, and it's done by an artist named Michelangelo. And it's not one of the turtles, okay? Not one of the Ninja Turtles, okay? Michelangelo is an artist who lived a long time ago. But boys and girls, the Pietà is it's a statue of Mary in the back, and maybe after Mass or during the day, you'll have a chance to come and look at it more. But Mary is there holding Jesus right after Jesus died on the cross. Jesus just died on the cross, and they just took him down from the cross. And there's the Blessed Mother, Mary, holding Jesus. But what I want you to notice, and you probably can't tell from here too well, but when you look at it later, you see Mary's two arms. Her right arm, her right hand, and this gives us an indication on what we're supposed to do with sadness. As today we celebrate Our Lady of Sorrows. It tells us what we're supposed to do with sadness and sorrow. Her right hand is around Jesus, holding him really tight. When you walk by, you'll see her right hand, her fingers are pressed in on Jesus' body as Jesus' body just kind of lays there limp as he had just died. And the Blessed Mother, she's sad and she's holding on to her son's body tightly. Her other hand is not holding on to Jesus. Her left arm, her left hand is out like this, and it's pointed upward. So one hand, and this hand's pointing upward. So boys and girls, that's kind of like an image of, like in sorrow, it's kind of like a way of life to always be holding on to Jesus and giving him our sadness, right? No matter what layer of sadness we're at, we're holding on to Jesus. We're giving him our sadness. But at the same time, boys and girls, we're also just trusting God. It's like, I don't understand it. I don't like being sad right now. It doesn't feel good. I don't know why this has happened to me. I don't know why I didn't get the things that I wanted that I didn't get. I don't know why my pet died or a family member died. So I'm, Lord, just going to keep a hand open to you, saying, I don't get it. I maybe don't like it, but I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to depend upon you. And you'll notice Mary's face. Mary's face is not a face of worry. She's sad. Her face comes across as being sad, but she's not worried. Because a lot of times, boys and girls, we want to take that hand that's up like this, trusting in God, and when we're sad, we kind of want to put it on ourselves, and we want to say, I'm going to control this. The disposition is to have the hands like Mary. So it brings us to the third point, our hands. And it's simply to check our hands. Maybe to check our hands today, and maybe more so as we get into junior high and eighth graders, because we talked about the layers of sadness. As we get older, the layers of sadness, of the possibilities of sadness, and the layers go deeper and deeper the older we get. And so if you're eighth grade, if you're seventh grade here, if you're sixth grade here, going down into fifth grade, is a check to say, what are my hands like? I probably have a number of things right here in my life that's making me sad right now. There are some things that I might be going through or my family's going through, and it's difficult, it's tough, and it's making me sad. Is to say, check my hands. Is one hand holding on to Jesus? Am I telling him my sorrows? Am I crying out to him as Jesus did to the Father? Am I expressing my sorrow and giving it to Jesus? Or do I have a tendency to remove my hand from Jesus and to put it into other things? And we can do everything. We can shop, we can play video games, we can do all these other things to maybe take away our sorrow, but it never works, or it leads to disastrous effects. And then with the other hand, it's like, the other hand, is my hand out open? Am I trusting in God? Am I giving him control in this situation that's very difficult for me, for my family right now? And it's causing me sadness, but I'm going to keep my hand open like the Blessed Mother. I'm going to trust him. So boys and girls, let us turn to the Blessed Mother, asking her for her help in moments of sorrow and sadness. And we can be inspired by the Pietà, by Mary's hands, by her face, as she holds Jesus, to help us to keep our hands on Jesus and trusting in God.